Welcome to Women Who Heal. Today I'm talking with Leah. Leah was at her breaking point when she'd met me. She tried everything: supplements, lifestyle changes, walks, self-care. Yet PMDD continued to control her emotions, her relationship, and life. As a nurse, she'd seen firsthand the ineffectiveness of medications and refused to settle for temporary fixes. Desperate for real change, she turned to the Red Tent program, and everything shifted. In this powerful conversation, Leah shares her raw and transformative journey from skepticism to real, lasting healing. Hello, Leah. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to start with, I always like to begin by asking, where were you when you first came across the Red Tent and the work that I do, and sort of what was it? Where were you in your life?
So I was, I think most people probably are at this point when they find it, but I was at just like the worst point where it felt like there was nothing more that I could possibly do, and that it felt hopeless. I felt like, um, and I don't take I'm not one to like take medication, so there could have been that option, though I've seen so many people say that it didn't work, or over time it just stopped working and all the side effects just are terrible. And I'm a nurse, and I have a lot of patients and clients that are on those medications, and it's just not something that I wanted to do. And so finally I was like, I'm taking these herbs, I'm taking these supplements, I'm walking, I'm, going on walks, and I'm doing all the things that they say is supposed to help. And I'm just like out of control. I don't like the mom that I've become. I don't like the wife that I've become, the daughter. I'm irritated with everybody. And so I just was like, you know what? I don't care if this cost $1 million. Like I'll put it on my credit card, whatever. Like I'm gonna do this literally was my last resort. There was just no other options.
Yeah,
And so that's where I was at when I started.
yeah, I get it. And it's your life, and this with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, it's like this roller coaster and it just keeps going around. And I find that the longer you leave it, as when I work with clients who are almost perimenopausal, it's almost taking up 2 weeks of their life at the point when they start. So it's not like it gets easier if you don't. It's like a festering wound. The longer you leave it, the worse it tends to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were sort of at, okay, I simply have to do something, and I'm going to do whatever it takes, which is a good place to be when you begin this work, because it's courageous, isn't it? This journey. It's totally worth it, but it is courageous.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about your journey and what happened for you, what you experienced throughout the Red Tent.
Um, I was a little bit skeptical at first. I think most people are. It's like, okay, well, I've tried all these things, and how is this gonna really fix it all? How is this really gonna do it? So I started off a bit skeptical, but I realized in our first call together, um, that everybody I think was kind of feeling a little uncertain and stuff. And then, but once we started applying the very first module, and I started noticing like, okay, this, this is kind of working. Like, let's see, and then the second week went, and I noticed that like, okay, my cycle wasn't as bad, but maybe that's just, maybe that was just a coincidence. Maybe, you know what I mean? I just still kind of was like, we'll see. Like, we'll see. Let me give it one more cycle. And so definitely once I did my first RTT, which was a one-on-one with Chloe,
Yeah.
um, something really shifted. Had the normal kind of like regression where I'm like, oh, why am I feeling? I'm feeling a little anxious, and because you're looking to find something. But then my cycle came, and it was a great cycle. And so I continued on with the program, and every week I could see the women in the calls and how they started off just like looking just sad and like even just like older
Yeah.
and and like just kind of like just really depressed.
Mm.
True. And then every week it was just like everybody had a smile. Everybody's like skin looked better. Everybody was just, genuinely happier. And you could just tell like
Yeah.
it's
It's
not just me.
a lightening of the spirit of your, like, and that shines out from inside of you. You just look, it's nothing, no amount of Botox could give you this
Right.
glow. It's from within. It's like sunbeams shining out of your face, like I think, is it Roald Dahl says that,
Right.
or is
Yeah.
it Dr. Seuss? It's one of them.
Yeah.
It is. It's the inner light gets freed again after all the layers of conditioning and beliefs and all the horrible negative stuff that you're
But
sort of
it's not
stuck
like
with.
you're doing a lot of work. Like I want people to know, like, yes, you have to put in the work. You have to learn, learn about the things that you need to do. But it's not like you're every second of the day you're consumed in it. It's once you start the RTT, it's like it's doing a big part of the work for you. So if you feel overwhelmed and you feel like I just don't even think I have it in me to like do like this insane amount of work to get better, it's not like that. And so I really liked that about the program because people with PMDD, like our energy level is just so low.
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
that was really helpful. So recently, just the other day, I had somebody on a Zoom call and they both were like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you doing to your skin?" Or, like you just look, oh, they said you just look so at peace.
Mm.
And it's
Yeah.
like, like people notice,
People know this. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so now everybody I know wants to do it, wants to do it.
What did you do? Yeah, and there's a reason that it's called rapid transformational therapy, because it does exactly that. It's not difficult. It's 2 hours. Think how many hours of therapy you'd have to go to, and you'd still not get the same result. You could talk over and over and over and over about your problems, which so many people have done for years. I have clients who've been in therapy for 20 years.
Yeah. I'm trying to like end my relationship with my therapist now. And she thinks that it's so funny because she thinks she's the one that did it for me, and it's just like, it like makes me cry like in laughter because I'm like, no, it was another program that I did. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. It's
it's
a different, it's a whole new paradigm of therapy. We're not going to talk around it and pick at scabs on the surface and try and fix it by talking about and telling the same story over and over again. It's almost like making the grooves of the record that are playing in your mind even deeper, instead of throwing out this record that's, been in there for too long and outdated, and putting a new record in that's better. And that's sort of the difference, isn't it? Yeah. And it's so, I mean, how would you explain it to somebody? Because I know anyone listening be like, but what are they doing? What's happening? It's also secretive. It's not, it isn't secretive, but it is probably maybe difficult to explain. But what would you explain the process of rapid transformational therapy to be like for someone who'd never heard about it?
Oh gosh. I would say it's nothing about it feels strange or weird or anything, maybe leading up to it because might not know what to expect, but you literally are just, well, you have your 2-hour call where you just talk about what's been going on and what's been causing you, all of your challenges in your life, and your therapist, collects all this information. And then on your your hypnosis call, you literally are just going, just basically relaxing. She's just getting you into a very relaxed state by things that you might be familiar with, like stepping, walking down steps, all those different tools to kind of like get your nervous system calmed down. So that's really the hypnosis part. There's not a lot of like, and now you're gonna, be a different person or anything. You're still just like, if you wanted to, you really could open your eyes. You could say, okay, I need a break. You're totally aware.
That's right. It's you're not asleep. And a lot of people think, oh, what are you going to do to me? Will I remember? And no, you're completely present the entire time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have that intro call just to find out, okay, what is this? And then the IPP session is this 2-hour process of where you walk downstairs, you go into hypnosis. It's quite quick, the induction. We don't spend ages putting you into hypnosis. It's very natural state to go into. And then it's all just about going back to the root, the cause, and the reason for why you have the issue. And your subconscious mind is so amazing. It will just take you right to it. And sometimes scenes come up for people and their conscious mind's going, what's this? Why is this relevant? And you think, and almost discard it. And I was like, no, what was that? Don't discard it. And I think that to be very relevant. So the subconscious knows where to take you.
Yeah. And it was very interesting because I think that Chloe, I told her in the beginning, I was like, I'm just worried I'm not going to have much come up. And she was like, well, let's just see, even if we can get one thing. And then in the end, she was like, Leah, I think you had more things come up than like anyone else.
Yeah.
Like,
and another thing. And there's also this thing. Yeah.
It is good.
Like Pandora's box open for you.
And I think people should know that, I've seen people be like, well, I haven't had anything traumatic happen to me. Well, me either. I mean, everybody has little traumas. And I think that one trauma for me was even just like giving my mom a note. And in my head, I just didn't think it didn't mean anything to her. I mean, it can be something so simple that I never even thought about since I was a kid. And then, it comes up and you're like, oh, wow, that really made an imprint on me and who I thought I was. And so I think that's really important for people to know that, like, if you have big traumas, great, but it doesn't really matter what kind of trauma it is. It could be something small that has affected you. And so, yeah, I had a mix of it, but it was very healing for me, for sure.
Yeah, that's a really good point, that it isn't what's happened to you that's hurt you. It's the meaning that you gave it. And it could be something you look back on and go, I mean, come on, it wasn't that bad. I spelt the word wrong in class and the kids laughed, but whatever. I mean, that happens to everyone. But as a 6 or 7-year-old, that might have really made you feel like a complete outcast, that you were stupid. I'm never going to put my hand up again. What did you start to believe in order to protect yourself from that happening? And there's so many things that can happen in life, in childhood, that can leave a mark that's still affecting us today. And it can be really big stuff. I mean, I've really seen it all, every kind of sexual abuse you can imagine, alcoholic parents. I've seen really, really horrific things. And then I've also seen things like the thing I just described, where you think, well, that wasn't that bad. But again, it isn't the event. It's what did the child make it mean about themselves? What did you start to believe about you? And that's the thing that we need to uncover and reframe. So how are you now? I haven't seen you for a little while. So this is our first catch up since, when you were in the red tent in the group calls.
Yeah.
And also, how would you describe the group calls, that part of the program, seeing the women every week? You mentioned a little bit how everyone just got younger and brighter every single week.
I love seeing everybody because every week we're all, you're all on the journey together. And so you get to kind of see where, how it's affecting everybody else. And I think it kind of gives you hope too. You're like, okay, like it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't just a fluke cycle. It's like, okay, everybody else is really noticing differences. And like, even if no one said anything, you can see it. You can see it on their face. And so I like that. I like the accountability of it. I think a lot of people need accountability, especially when you have PMDD. You need something that is going to be there every week. And so having having those calls really help be like, okay, I better do my I need to do my homework so that I can be part of this call, and so that it can help me, because if I sit there and have nothing to say, I can learn from other people. And it's okay if you miss a week, you can catch up, but it's really there's no pressure on it. And it's really just a nice thing to have to connect with other people who are on the same journey with you. And I think as women, that community is really important, especially when it's other people that are healing with you. And it's not a community of people that are all talking about how they want to kill their husbands, or they, I'm joking, but like, they're
Sure.
all suicidal, or, it's so hard because we've all been there, but we're wanting to move into another direction together. And so I think being around the people who they're all wanting that same thing desperately was very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we want the belonging, but the price you have to pay for the belonging in some of these PMDD groups is just too high, because it's a real downer, and it sucks you in and makes you feel, I'm never going to get out of this, and look how bad this is. And it can really put you into that powerless victim state. Whereas here, it's like, I'm taking ownership of my life.
Yeah.
And doing this together, and oh my gosh, look at her, she is already so different, and I'm feeling different too, and something really magical and amazing is happening.
Yeah.
It's quite scientific really what's happening, but it feels magical.
Yeah, it's a shift. And I think like anyone around me would use that word. Like I can see that something shifted. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's just, something has shifted. So yeah, and going back and like looking in those groups, the PMDD groups, it's really hard because you just see yourself, your old self, who you used to be, and you just want to help. And if a lot of times if you say anything, they think this is just too good to be true.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating because I'm like,
I know.
like I'm not making anything. I'm not, like I just want to help y'all because it's literally saved my life, saved marriage and my relationships. So, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, so valuable. And you kind of had a sense of how valuable it would be in the beginning. Like, I have to do this. I don't care if it costs $1 million, because that's what's at stake. Like, if I could put a dollar value on my relationship, my parenting, I mean, it's all so important. It's your life. You can't even put a price on it.
No.
But of course, it's not $1 million to do the program. It's a drop in the ocean compared to who you become as a result. But there does need to be that skin and that financial commitment, because if I just gave this away for free and I just made this a huge charity thing, people wouldn't show up for themselves. It'd be like, yeah, it's like a free gym membership. You just wouldn't go because, I'll go tomorrow. It needs to be like, okay, I need that commitment from you, for you to start owning your life. And that is actually a part of that commitment.
Yeah.
So what is it like now?
Oh, sorry. I'm in a Pilates class, and you pay up front. And so I've never had any other workouts like that, where like I've had it to where like I could cancel a class because I was a member of a gym, and I could just cancel. And it's just the same thing. If I don't show up for that class, or I even cancel that class within 24 hours, like I have to pay for that whole class. And so I think it's so important. And another thing that I want to say is that, and I am in no means like making any money doing this call, but I want to say that it's the same thing as like, if you broke your leg and you needed to get a cast or something, you would put it on your credit card because you know that you have to take care of your body, and you're going to do it. You're not going to not get a cast. You're not going to not take care of yourself. And so even if you have to put it on your credit card and pay it off over a year, that's what you have to do to take care of yourself. And so the best thing I can say is if you see the tag and you think like, oh my gosh, it's so much money, that's, I could never do that, but you can do it because there are options. And don't let another year of your life go to hell because you couldn't figure out a plan. Like, Natalie, I'm sure you can help people figure out a plan to do it, but you can put anything on your credit card and you can pay that off little bits at a time, because it's worth it, because it's your mental health and it's your physical health.
Yeah, and I've made it available now at different levels, so that there's the entry level where it's all online and there's guided sessions and all of that, and then you can upgrade to have a session with Chloe or 2 sessions with Chloe, or you can work with me. There are different levels. They're all very good. but it's just, where are you at and how much do you want to put into it. But you will get a result no matter what level you're at. And tell me about your results. Like, what is life like now on the other side of this journey?
Yeah, it's just peaceful. I don't think anymore about, oh no, luteal's coming and I only have a few days left of feeling good, and then the next part of my, month is going to just suck. I don't even think like that anymore. I don't even know a lot of the time where I am in my cycle, because it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, you still have PMS symptoms like any other woman, just normal. Like like for me, like I might feel a little irritable, but it's not like I'm going to, my issue was like anger, and it's not like I'm going to be like, I feel like I'm, boiling and I'm going to explode, and, and I would explode. It doesn't feel like that anymore. It's much more calm and firm and directed, much more confident. I don't feel things as an attack to me anymore. I don't feel a rejection by my family. I'm not looking into things anymore. It's just, I'm able to just like live my life, just like, the happy parts of my cycle are my whole cycle now. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, I know we have the group. After you're done, you're in a group together with a bunch of other women that have gone through it. And really, there's not a lot of activity in there because there's nothing that needs to be said anymore. It's just everybody has the tools, and, like, I think I might have some like a phobia or something. And I know that that's something that I'm working on myself, but it's something that I'll probably do another RTT on that specific thing. So it's not that RTT doesn't work. You might have a different trigger that you didn't work on, if you have to.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I would say that's my only thing, honestly. I mean, my husband can tell, my friends, like I said, they can tell, my kids can tell, even my nanny said, like, your kids seem like they're acting, they're just better behaved and just happier, and I was like, I'm telling you, it's the RTT.
Exactly. Everybody benefits. There's this huge ripple effect. I always say the queen of the home sets the tone. And if if the queen is all over the place, then so are the kids, because they're going, who's running this show? And is she going to get upset? And, oh no, mummy's crying. And they're on eggshells, and that's not, and you probably grew up on eggshells, We don't want this to keep going. We need to sort this out in ourselves so our children don't have to.
They won't have it.
They don't need to go through their own healing journey because they don't have all that, too much to heal. And that's the gift that we're giving. It's not just you, it's your children. And guess what? Then it's your children's children and so on. It's like you are stopping. You're standing, drawing a line in the sand of generational trauma, saying it stops here with me. I'm turning around and I'm facing it. And it's not going to be passed down. It's not to say that life is going to be completely perfect, and they're not going to, because we've all got our things to learn and lessons and everything. But
you can still get frustrated with somebody. It's not like you become this, like, I was describing it to a friend the other day. It's not like you become that person that's like, la, 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 what I mean? Just, you're like, are you real? Like, you are not going to be like that. Don't worry. Like, you're not going to just be,
some spiritually, what's the word? You're not, it's not like, oh, I love everybody or anything. It's just, you're just your true self without any of the masks, any of the protective measures you've got in place. You're more of your true self. I think that the journey is ongoing. We can always grow. And as we grow, we'll tend to hit new things we didn't even know were there, like, I don't know, if you earn more money than you've ever earned before in your life, you'll suddenly go, whoa, what do I do with all this money? Or if you had more, worked online and you suddenly had a lot more followers, you'd be like, oh, geez, there's a lot of people now. You'd start to go, whoa, that feeling would come in. Self-sabotage is always going to rear its head as you grow, and it's just about moving through those things. And addressing, okay, so is there anything else, anything being triggered? Okay, that's interesting. And letting the triggers in your life be a guide for, okay, what needs work here? Where am I still not completely in authority with myself, or not loving myself enough? Where am I giving away my power? Where am I rejecting or abandoning myself still? And it is an ongoing journey, but I think the aim of the red tent is to sort of pull you out of that apathy, depression, anxiety, anger, and move you up this thing. But we keep going up and up and up and up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you do see it. You see it in a person's, the body follows the mind, and everyone's faces show it. Your face shows it. My face shows it. I can look at myself and go, I'm often asked, what skin products do you use? I go, Rapid Transformational Therapy. Because that's it. And I learn so much by doing the sessions with my clients. I feel I get the upgrades along with you all, because your revelations become mine. I feel like I've learned so much from just doing this work, even not if I don't have a session on myself, but even working with others. It's just, oh wow, that's, you get a map of how things tie together.
Yeah.
I
can't imagine doing a better line of work.
Yeah, it is pretty rewarding job. It really is. I really love it. And I feel like you, like I used to be in that burning house, and I feel like I want to just run back there with buckets of water and say, here's the way out, come on. But not everyone's ready to leave the burning house, as you will discover as you try to go into some of the PMDD groups, and they don't want to hear this. And that's tough. There's a certain way of seeing it that's very much and it's not to say we're not different biologically. I do think there is, like, the second factor I talk about is this sensitivity. We're all very empathetic, sensitive, creative beings, most of us. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you could find any sort of difference, that would be it. But that's not something that we want to get rid of. That's just putting us in touch with the trauma. So yes, there may be a biological difference, but it's not the problem. The problem is the trauma that we are so in tuned into that needs to be undone. And when we do that, I mean, I'm walking proof of it. You're living proof of it. So are hundreds of others. You can't, I mean, it is working.
Yeah.
So yeah. So last words that, not last words, but parting words. What would you like to say, Leah, to anyone listening who's maybe feeling hopeless right now and looking for a way? What would you say to them?
It almost makes me want to cry just to think that there's other people that, that are potentially not going to give something like this a try, because it really is life-changing. Like, don't wait. It's seriously, like, I haven't been this happy in, I don't know, 10 years. I mean, I've had PMDD for a long time, but until I had kids, I didn't really notice it like I did, because that was my trigger. It was like, a little me just kind of right back at me. And yeah, I would just say, don't wait. Like, just don't wait. There's no point of wasting any more of your life waiting. And I think the only thing that holds people back are two things, and it's financially. And I think that that's something that, anybody can try to figure that out in some way to make it work. And then the other one is just believing that it doesn't work, or what if it doesn't work? Or, I don't know. The way I think of that is like, like if there's like a homeless person on the side of the road and they're saying they're hungry, and you're like, I don't know, are they really hungry, or do they just want money? Or, it's like, well, you just give it to them anyways. I don't know. It's the best analogy I know how to say. Like, you just do it anyways, because I promise you're going to find that it does work, but you just you just put that one step in front of the next, and that's just the next step that you do. Because especially if, if you're on medication and it's really not working, and it's not you, or you don't like the way that it's making you feel, or you don't want to take medication, or you can't take medication, or you're thinking about having a hysterectomy. I mean, those are so intense, like changing things. I would think you would want to do something like this first before you do that. And so please consider it. Like, I feel now, I know how Natalie feels when she says that she knows this is her life's work. Like, this is so important, because once you've received it and you experience it, you don't want anybody else to feel like that again, because you know that it works, and you know that you can heal. And Natalie and Chloe, they put so much into the program, and they spend hours with you, working with you, and then they create a recording for you, and they check in on you weekly, and then they check on you after the 21 to 30 days. And so the amount of money you would be spending in therapy is not even in comparison to what you're going to get to this program. And the reason the cost of the program is, it seems higher, is because Natalie and Chloe are doing a job. It's just like going to a doctor and saying, I have PMDD and I need you to give me medication, and they can't take insurance, and you have to pay $800 for that visit. I mean, that's how it works. The only reason people have, is because of insurance. And unfortunately, insurance doesn't cover this. Otherwise, I'm sure y'all would love to,
Sure, yeah, that's
help more people. But yeah, please do it. It's life-changing. I feel amazing. I'm happy. I feel like I don't have to revolve my vacations. I'm not like, oh, well, we can't go for those 2 weeks, and we shouldn't go the few days before either, because then we'll end up in ovulation while we're there. And, my period can also be bad. And so we literally have like a week that we can do anything and plan anything. It's just like this last cycle, before this last cycle, we were at the beach, and we traveled from Louisiana to Florida, from Florida back to another town in Louisiana, from that town back to another town, with all my kids during my whole luteal phase. And me and my husband couldn't keep our hands off of each other.
Oh, yeah, that's the truth.
That's the truth. And I could handle car rides. Like, we were driving for 9 hours, like back and forth, 9 here, 3 there, 4 there, 1 there. And it didn't even, I mean, I had a feeling of, okay, I need to get these kids under control, but it wasn't like I was out of control. I was able to know the things to say. I was able to know what to do for myself, instead of before just feeling out of control, feeling like I was being abused by everybody else. It's just so different now. So
you've got power within you now. Before, there's that real powerlessness. So they're all getting at me instead of, I'm the queen and I set the tone, and it's holding that that authority within yourself, within your life, with your parenting, and that's where the calm feeling comes from, because you've got you and you've got this. It's so wonderful. I'm so happy for you and proud of you for taking this journey, and thank you so much for sharing your story today and inspiring other women who are going through what you used to be going through, what I used to be going through, and giving hope. So thanks very much.
Thanks for the opportunity.
If you found this episode helpful, I'd love it if you could take a moment to rate and review the podcast. Your support helps us reach more women who might need this message of hope and healing. And don't forget to share this episode with anyone who could benefit from it, a friend, a sister, or someone in your community. You can follow me on Instagram at Natalie Ryan Hebert and at the Red Tent PMDD. I'd love to hear your thoughts and connect with you there.